guys on. Welcome, officially welcome Dorothea as our guest today. I'm so excited to have you, Dorothea.
Good to be here.
Okay, so we're just going to start it off. I want you to tell, everybody knows you from the DRUMEO videos and from all of the videos that you make, especially all of the rudimental things that you do so well. So tell me a little bit about your drumming history. Let us know something about your background so that we know how you got to this point.
Yeah. Well, if I didn't have that drum and bugle corps in my hometown in Upper Michigan, things would probably have been totally different for my life,
of course,
as a drummer, because we marched and I was in there for 6 years and we practiced like 10 hours a day, a lot of times.
Wow.
And so that really brings up your rudimental skills. And, after 6 years doing that, and even in the winter, we practiced twice a week in the winter time because all I had to do was go to the American Legion building, let us use that for years and years. And so just, about a mile away, and there was the American Legion building. And so we practiced twice a week from, October up until getting ready for parade season. Memorial Day parade was the first one. So just with that extensive training, rudimental training, that's what brought my chops to,
So was that as a kid growing up, or was that as an adult, or when did you start? When were you in the marching in the that kind of thing?
I started in 8th grade. I joined because I had been watching them and listening to the practices. I could hear them from the street we lived on. It was just right down the road. I'd get on my bike and go and watch the drum corps practice. And so I just fell in love with drumming. And so I joined at 13 in 8th grade. And then you have to age out at 21.
Okay.
And I got married at 19. I still was going to march that summer. And then, it was like last minute we decided to get married because he's an old Southern boy from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I am right now. And he had 1 year left in the Air Force. And that's the only way I met him is because he was stationed up there. So he had 1 year left and they transferred him to Klamath Falls, Oregon. So think about Michigan up here, Oregon way over here, and South Carolina being here. So I figured if I didn't get married, I'd probably never see him again because he'd go to Oregon and he'd come back to South Carolina. So I decided, it was hard to decide to get married that young, but I had been out of high school for 2 years. I graduated when I was 17. And so back then, 1968, when I graduated, a lot of girls got married then right out of high school. So, I got married at 19, and I think my husband thought, I've told this before, I think my husband thought, oh, well, she's not going to be marching anymore and she's not going to be in a band anymore because she's married.
Right.
And that was not the case. Surprise, surprise. And 50 years later, I'm still playing.
Yes, and good thing. Good on you. Good for everyone that you're still playing.
Yeah, I never really understood why some people will say, well, I used to play drums when I was, in middle school. Well, to me, a drummer will continue throughout. A person who just was playing or banging on some drums, I think there's a difference between that. So if it's in your blood, like it is me, you can't stop, I get in the bed.
I do have something to say about that.
Okay.
I played all the way until I got married at 19, but then my husband joined the military and we were on post and there was no place for drums at that, there was nothing, we couldn't have anything. And at that time there was no practice pad drum sets or anything like that. So I really didn't get to play because we were in the military, always on the military base. I didn't get to play for years. And then I came back when I could, but it wasn't that I didn't feel like a real drummer. It's just that I
Right.
didn't have the opportunity. And some people, you know, they're in apartments and things, but
Right.
now there are drum sets that you can have like electronic kits, and you can have hybrid kits, and there's all kinds of things and people can have now. But back then there was really only an acoustic set, and that
Yeah.
was about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
agree with that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even, could you tell that you were still listening to music? You were listening to the drummers, you knew the parts, you were air
Yeah.
drumming? Yeah.
My husband said that I would play in my sleep. He could feel
Yeah.
it on the bed. He would have to wake
Yeah.
me up, and he'd say, "You're moving the bed.
Yeah.
You're drumming to something in your head."
Because that's a sign of a drummer.
Yeah.
A drummer, we basically eat, sleep, and breathe drumming. You know,
Yes.
I'm always tapping on something, always just feeling the rhythm. And my husband give me the dirty look, and then I'll be like, "Oh, sorry."
I know. I don't realize that I'm doing it.
No, no, it's just such a habit.
It is. It's part
So
of our
that's,
genetic makeup, I think.
yeah, it is. It is. So that's how I got started. And I never played in band in school. I
Okay.
started in 6th grade band playing the saxophone, but I dropped out, and I never played in high school band either. I was just in drum corps. And
Nice.
we had more extensive training than what the school program ever gave.
Of course. Yeah, you would have to have.
Yeah.
Okay, so because most people know you through DRUMEO, the videos that you've made through DRUMEO, tell me about that relationship. How did that get started?
One day I got a direct message on Instagram, said, "Hi, this is Dave Atkinson from DRUMEO, and I would like to talk to you." And I was like, "Really? I wonder if that's, is that just somebody saying, that it's Dave Atkinson, but it's not really." Right. And so, I kind of hesitated, but I said, "Okay, sure." And then I think he did say, "Well, what is your telephone number?" And so I kind of hesitated. I didn't know whether to give it to him or not.
Yeah.
But I did. And so a couple days later, I get a telephone call, and I see that it's coming in from Canada, Vancouver. And so I pick up my phone and I said, "Hi, Dave." I just knew it was him.
Yeah.
I just knew it. And so he said, "We want to have you out." And I said, "You do?" I said, "Because you guys have, all the top-notch players," because I've been following DRUMEO. They have, amazing drummers. I said, "Are you sure you want me?" And he was like, "Yeah, we want you to come out. We're going to fly you out here." And I couldn't believe it. So I just went out, and it was like a year ago this past October.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then they've been using those videos. They'll just, because we did a bunch of them, like take. I was sitting there, and he's like, "Okay, do another one." And I'd say, "Hi, this is Dorothea, and I'm going to play some whatever, Patapompoms or whatever." I'd do that. And then they'd say, "Cut. Okay, do another one." So I did a ton of them like that. And so now they're just like interspersing them sporadically there.
And you're doing something new with DRUMEO now.
Yes, that's very exciting.
Go ahead, tell us about it.
So they contacted me a couple of months ago and said, "We're starting a new program. It's called DRUMEO Coaches." And they started naming Todd Zuckerman and John Wooten and Sarah Thauer. And I said, "And you want me as a coach?" And they said, "Yes." And so I said, "Okay, well, give me the details. What is it involving?" Well, I didn't know I was going to have to buy all this elaborate equipment. I didn't even own a computer. So I had to buy a nice, beautiful Apple MacBook Pro. And then I had to get the cameras, and So I have a gorgeous setup over there.
I bet you do.
I was hoping to be able to do the Zoom on the computer, but I don't know if it's set up for Zoom yet because it's all so new to me. I don't even know how to work a computer. So for me to learn how to open the computer and go and get ready for that lesson on Tuesdays, it is a miracle that I'm able to even do that.
Well, I'm proud of you.
So I'm learning.
Awesome.
I'm learning.
I feel like this should be easier, that Zoom should not be hard, but I've had like a doctor's appointment and a meeting with friends, and I'm still, after a handful of times, I'm still like not 100% on top of this here.
That's funny.
Well, and setting up for that, you know, you have to go into this particular browser, and then you have to go in to I have to click on hold, and then I have to do stream and record and the intro to it, and then record, and then I'm talking into a blank camera. So the first day it was really scary. I had no idea whether anybody was hearing me. And I was just talking into, and then I had to speak for an hour. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about? But I had written some notes. And so I told a few tales about, getting there to a gig, and there was no hi-hat stand, and I had to call my husband, and it took up some time, and I think everybody enjoyed it. It was funny. And just talked about a few other just fun things, that I've done over the years. That's awesome. So why is my thing? No, right now there's nobody on there. It's just black, and I'm in the corner.
What, you can't see?
Now
I can't see anybody. Okay.
Now I see you. Yes.
Usually the person talking becomes the larger face on the screen.
So then it was going just black.
Oh, well, I can see everybody. I can see all of the people that are logged in.
Let me see if I can get that. Okay, now I see everybody
ladies.
now. Yeah,
just want to say, I sent a message just now to, hi Dorothea.
Hello.
I think it's Nicole's screen keeps coming up because it keeps going black for me as well.
Okay, good.
So
that's what Nicole I keep seeing.
If Nicole could switch her mic off, that would be that much.
I did mute Nicole's because I heard that she might have been messing around with paperwork or something, because I could hear it, and that was causing her screen to come up. So I went ahead and hit mute on that until she has a question, and then of course she can unmute and ask a question.
Look, I'm rocking
so
my
this might be a great time.
I want to
Terry,
say
go
something
ahead.
real quick. Dorothea, up in the right-hand corner is where you have your options for your screen view, usually.
Yes, I clicked. I see everyone now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, very good.
I'm gonna
Thank
mute.
you, Terry.
Dorothea, I'll just say a quick hi. I'm Jenny. This is my son, Jacob. He actually he's in high school. He plays the drum. And I called him and said, look who's here. He knows who you are. He follows you on Instagram. He said, what? Anyway,
Cool.
He's going to disappear for a while, but I just want to say hi.
Hello.
You got to follow me on TikTok too, Jacob.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I definitely will.
Okay, yeah. He doesn't do social media much. Only, a few. But anyway.
Hello.
TikTok has been
probably smart.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. He's leaving me now. He's going to leave me now.
Okay.
Does anybody have a specific question for Dorothea? Go ahead, Terry.
I was just wondering when you started playing professionally out of the drum corps, and what style of music did you start playing, and where did it progress, and how did it progress from there?
So I graduated when I was 17. And so that fall and winter, when we were rehearsing still, we would be through rehearsing by, 8:30 or so. And I got a gig playing 5 nights a week. And so I was only 17, and it was in a nightclub. And it was a guy on an organ, a Hammond organ, and he could play the fool out of that thing. And then we had a trumpet player, but I think the bass was taken care of, by the keyboard. He was playing all the pedals. And I can't remember if we had another instrument or not, but we played 5 nights a week. And guess what kind of music? Now, think about me being from Upper Michigan, right up on Lake Superior. There were a lot of people that moved from another country.
Lots of polkas.
There. Yep. It was a polka. It was a polka band. Yep.
How fun.
You know what's crazy is my other favorite drummer, Jimmy Chamberlain from the Pumpkins, played for a polka band in his beginning days too in Chicago.
I did. Oh, in Chicago. See, my hometown in Upper Michigan is a iron ore mining place. So growing up, there was every man that wasn't like a lawyer or a doctor, something. Everybody worked in the iron ore mines. And so people were coming over from England. My grandfathers are from England, but a lot of people are Finnish people, and they come over. And so that's how the polkas came up. But we played Tuesday through Saturday, and that dance floor was packed. Now, a Wednesday night, a Thursday night, and I'm thinking, they're out there dancing their butts off, drinking, having a good time, and then they've got to go to work tomorrow morning. I never could get over that. But this was in 1968, and I made $50 a night. That was a lot
of money.
Yes, I was like.
But that's why you're so solid, is because you had because you have to play simple when you play the polkas for the most part, and you have to be consistent, and you have to be solid, and that beat actually is I always tell my students that's one of the hardest beats, and they're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, no, really, because you're doing the same thing over and over, and if you get flipped around when you're backwards, because I remember the days in the band going, you're backwards, and I'm like, well, sorry, I didn't know how to flip back. But I mean,
but it also worked my right hand for. So that I got that developed pretty good for trying to keep up with those polkas.
Yeah,
awesome.
So, and then we did waltzes, and that band was, we played all the time. So then I got in a band, played the same type, similar music, but we did weddings. So all summer long, and really every weekend there was somebody getting married. And so we were like a wedding band. And we played a few different places, private parties or whatever. So, the same thing. People love to dance the polka. And that was good exercise for people back then too.
Sure.
So that was my first band. And then when I got married and moved to, we did, our stint in Oregon. I didn't play anything. And then we came to Myrtle Beach. First band I got in was a country band. And I had never played country music. So I learned all about country. And we did that 5 nights a week.
You're so solid. That's why you're so solid, because you are very solid. And ironically enough, that's another genre that they demand the simplicity, but everything's got to be there. And they get all funny if you do too many fills, which is a great education for a younger player. But I was gonna say, do you know where Ashland, Oregon is?
Ashland, Oregon? No, I don't think.
Well, ironically, I lived there for 15 years, and it's about 40 minutes from Klamath Falls going into Southern Oregon.
Well,
I know Ashland.
I was very young then, so I probably heard it, when we lived in Klamath Falls, but I don't recall it.
So oh, I'm not muted. Hey, Dorothea, I just wanted to say I live in Klamath Falls, Oregon now, so hi.
Oh, you do? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It was beautiful there. So beautiful.
Yeah, too much snow, but otherwise.
I wish I could think of my address. It was an apartment. And let me tell you what happened. So the lady, our landlady was, very nice to us. And so, we would go to her door. She lived on that same property. We'd go to her door and visit occasionally, but we'd pay our rent there. And we weren't supposed to have pets, and we didn't have a pet, but it was getting to where we were going to be moving and leaving because he was getting out of the service. And then the base closed. And so he got out a little bit earlier. Well, we had found some friends from church, and they had the cutest puppy. It looked like a miniature German Shepherd, but it was part Chow and part Cocker Spaniel. So it didn't look like a Chow or a Cocker Spaniel. It just looked like the colors of a German Shepherd, but just fluffy around here. We could not leave Klamath Falls without that dog. So we were leaving it there at the people's house, but I brought it home one afternoon, and the dog was in the house. We came in the back door, and I was in the bathtub, and the lady came to the door, knocking on the door, and the dog went, and it was a glass door, and the dog kind of went in between the curtain there. Our landlord had a fit, and she hated us then. And she had been, so nice to us the whole time we lived there. And we messed it up.
Oh boy. Well, at least you didn't have a drum set in there, maybe. You making a lot of noise.
I did have a drum set, but I don't know. I can't imagine not playing it. It was set up in the kitchen, between the kitchen and the living room. Set up there. And I think I gave some private lessons, but I don't remember having any problem with the volume. I can't recall that.
Well, that's good. Okay, anybody else have questions for Dorothea?
Hi, if nobody else has one, I do.
Go ahead.
What was it like, Dorothea, when you blew up social media? And, do you remember the first post that went viral?
Yeah, it was. I have been, playing paradiddles at various speeds for years and years and years. And my grandson is the one who encouraged me to sign up. And both of my sons had been on Instagram. My daughter had been on Instagram for a little while, and she was just following fashion and everything. So my grandson said, "Why don't you get on social media too, Grandma? Let's open up an Instagram account." So he helped me do it. And I said, well, I wonder if I should put a paradiddle video up. So I said paradiddles at, I think it was 230 beats per minute, and just put it up there. And somebody saw it. I don't know if it was the algorithm. Somebody saw it and then shared it. And it had 150,000 views within one day. And then, within the next few days, it had like 500,000 views. And I just could not believe it. And my sons, who, were looking to get followers, because one of my sons owns a dance company. So he has all these studios that follow him. So my numbers just went, and they could not believe it.
That's awesome.
It was just crazy. It just happened. And then it just took off from there.
So do people recognize you in the street now?
Yes. Yes, that is what is crazy. Every time I go somewhere, especially if I go to the mall or go into the music store, someone will come in there shopping, even with a mask on, they recognize me. I don't know how. How do you recognize somebody with a mask on?
Oh, it's brilliant.
Is it because it has a drum set and it says Drummer Girl United?
My name is Dorothea. Follow me on Instagram. No,
good idea.
Medical ones.
I watched the Down with the Sickness video, and you can see you walk in that video and see how you move. So I think I might.
You might.
I could. I would recognize you with the mask on. Sorry.
Thanks.
Well,
thanks.
They are.
Dorothea, it couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Thank you for everything you do.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We went to the mountains in the fall, even though, through COVID, but we wanted to see the leaves, so we had our masks on and everything. And I went into Asheville, North Carolina music store because I had found out that I was going to be a Paiste cymbal endorsee.
Right.
And so we didn't have any stores here that had any Paistes. So I just called around while I was there on vacation. And so I went into this, I don't know if it was a Guitar Center. I think it might have been Guitar Center. And they had some Paistes. And so I walked in, and you know how there's a glass room that you can go in there and sample all the cymbals. And this young boy helped me, and we took all the cymbals off the kit, and we put all new Paistes on there. And he went out and he told the other guys in the store, guess you'll never believe who's in there. It's Dorothea Taylor from Instagram. And so but I didn't know he did that, but I could see them kind of come through the glass and kind of watch me, and I was playing. So then when he came in to see how I liked them and everything, he said, can I get your autograph? And I'm
Cool.
sitting in there with that mask. I said, do you know who I am? He said, oh, yes. And so all the other guys came in too. And so we did selfies so they could put it up on their Instagram page.
That's awesome.
fantastic.
It's just crazy.
Hey, I do have a question for you, because people ask me this a lot, and probably people are asking you this the same. But how did it happen for you to get hooked up to the companies that you're hooked up to as an official endorsing artist?
And is that how you found out how to pronounce pasty? I always thought it was pasty, like pasties, you know.
Well, they came to me. I had talked with, because my friend who works in the local music store said the Meinl rep was coming in, and he said, I'm going to tell him about you. And so they gave me paperwork, and I filled it out. And I think I talked to one person, and then they had me fill out something else. And then I never heard anything back. They never followed through. And so here I was with a complete set of beautiful Meinls, but it was like they didn't even care. And I was getting all kinds of questions about my gear. And I felt like I needed to be nice to the people asking about it. You know, what size is this? Or what is this? But I'm thinking, I'm advertising for Meinl, and they're not doing anything for me.
Right.
So I kind of tried to cool down on really showing each Meinl. And so then all of a sudden, Kelly Paiste texts me, because I have to thank Eric Moore. Do you guys know Eric Moore?
Sure.
Just killer player. Well, he just was following me on Instagram. I was like, I can't believe Eric Moore is following me. So then he started messaging me, and he said, do you like Paiste cymbals? And I said, oh my gosh, because I worked in a music store about 22 years ago or whatever. I think I was in that store for 10 years, and I loved Paistes. And I knew they were called Paistes, even though students or customers would come in and say, do you have any paste cymbals? But I always knew they were Paistes. So I get a call then from Kelly, because Eric gave her my number. And I said the word Paiste, and she said, yes, you even know how to pronounce the symbols. So she just got me all set up, and the other products, I just keep getting sent things. You know, I'll get a message, will you show such and such, you know, different cajones and different things like that. So they just keep contacting me. And have you guys seen that slingshot, the Polaris slingshot on my Instagram?
Oh yeah.
They gave me that 2021 Polaris slingshot. They sent it down on a semi truck from was from Minnesota all the way to Myrtle Beach on a huge semi truck for me to be a influencer, and I had to post a certain amount of posts. So they did it. So I still have it. Now they didn't give it to me for free. I mean, to keep, but I've had it for over a month now, and I don't know when they're going to come and pick it up.
Harry, you have a
That's
question?
cool.
Yeah, can you tell us what it is? Because I have no idea. And I'm picturing you in a human slingshot being slingshotted out, but I don't think that's what it is.
Well, I think there are some pictures on my Facebook page too, of me in the slingshot. But it's 3-wheeled motorcycle, but it's like a car. It looks like the Batmobile.
Wow.
Yeah, it does.
It's made by Polaris.
I did
Polaris.
one of those.
Yeah, Polaris makes snowmobiles, and then they make the 4-wheelers, and they make this slingshot.
Amazing.
And it's the thing is
cool.
so much fun. It's so amazing. And we
You
have
look badass. You look badass in that thing.
it's so
You really do.
thank you. It's so fun.
I just love it.
I took it out yesterday by myself and just rode all over because we actually had sunshine and without rain. So I'm hoping that they let me keep it a little bit longer, just because even to send a truck out from Minnesota, that can be dangerous in the snow in this time of the year. Why don't they just let me keep it till like April or something?
So I hope they do.
Yeah. If you
what other companies are you an official artist for?
Not an official. I haven't signed papers with anyone else except now I have the opportunity to do Evans, and I have all new Evans heads that were given to me to load up my kit with. But I guess I just have to get back with them and let them know if I want to do it. So
very good.
I just haven't, I haven't done it yet.
I agree with what you said. With when it comes to getting endorsements, they should pursue you. I have talked to a company before just to let them know, hey, I'll be tagging you on this because I use your product all the time. It was the big fat snare drum. I use it a lot. That is literally the only company that I have contacted, telling them that I'm playing your gear. Other than that, they generally will pursue the
because I have
artists
big
that they
fat
want
snare
on their
drum.
roster. And
I have that too. I have the big fat snare drum, but I
you got to
haven't
let them
signed
know
any.
that you're using it. Yeah.
I
So
think they
but
know.
that's kind of usually how it works. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I have a
does
question.
somebody else have? Go ahead.
Sorry, and now I have a cat. But so Dorothea, maybe I don't know, maybe you posted, but do you actually play in bands? And other than the videos, I normally see you on videos doing techniques. Do you have a particular, like music style or genre that you like playing to in a band? Like, I don't know.
Well, up until I went to DRUMEO, I was active in a band. We played, once a week or once every other week. It was a classic rock band. And then I went to DRUMEO and did that thing. And when I came back, it was like, I knew we had a gig that Friday and they didn't send the music. They usually send out a sheet, and what order, a set sheet. And so I called and they're like, oh, we didn't know you were back. So we asked so-and-so, and I'm like, yeah, you knew I was back, what's up with that? And so they said, well, this is a late gig and we know that you don't like late gigs. And it really was a late gig. I didn't get home until like 2:45 in the morning, which was ridiculous. But that wasn't any way to really leave a band.
Sure.
And so I haven't played with them since. So right now, and then COVID came. So right now I'm not playing with anybody, and I don't even know if I want to anymore. I'm having fun doing what I'm doing.
Is there a certain genre of music that you really love to play?
I love music so much that not really. I mean, if it was a jazz gig, I would take that. And then just classic rock is always fun, but I like funk. And there's a really good blues band in town. And, you know, that would be fun too. So I just like a lot of music. I don't think we have any polka bands here in Myrtle Beach.
Anybody else have questions?
I have one.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering if there's anything in your drumming career that to you was like kind of like a dream, like, oh, if I could do that, that would just be epic, you know, like what, is there anything you haven't done yet that you would really like to do in your drumming?
No, I think, you know, my kind of a dream thing was just being able to say that we were on stage and Ray Charles, you know, we were accompanying Ray Charles. I was in the symphony orchestra. And so they used a lot of us to be that backing, you know, for his music. So we were I was actually playing on stage with Ray Charles for that concert. And so that kind of fulfilled my dream of just playing with somebody famous.
Yeah. Nice.
And I want to go to NAMM one time. I think that's like my other dream, just to see everyone.
You must go to NAMM. It is the most amazing experience. It's so much fun. So maybe next January, hopefully everything will be safe.
I would like to go with someone though. I don't want to go by myself. You know.
Well, I'm always there, so you can always hang with me. And I've got, I mean, lots of drummer girls are there. We usually have a meetup at Drum Talk TV and do an interview, and all of us get together. There's sometimes 40, 50 of us there for pictures and all that kind of thing.
That would be fun.
It's very much fun. Yeah.
Bring your earplugs and a bullhorn.
Yeah, pretty much.
And a bullhorn.
Is NAMM the same place every year, or does it change?
Yes.
Location?
In January, it's always in January. It's always in Anaheim Convention Center. It's literally across the street from Disneyland. So I could walk across the street and be on the Disneyland lot. So that's where it is. And then Summer NAMM is always in July, and it's always in Nashville. But it's I've never been, but I think I might go this year if it's safe to go, if they have it. It's a little heavier on the guitar side than the percussion side, but still a lot of percussion companies do set up, and a lot of my friends and people that I know will be there. So if they have it this year, that might be a fun thing. And Dorothea, that's not too far from you, Nashville.
That would be easier for me.
Yeah.
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 Make sure you bring, I'm sorry, Tammy. I was just going to say, make sure you bring your sticks, because it's like Toys R Us for drummers.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
The NAMM show, the January one is definitely, I don't know how much of that is like that in July at the Nashville show. I know PASIC is like that. PASIC is always in November in Indiana now. They used to move it around, but now I think it's, no, not in, is it Indianapolis? I think. Yeah, a few years ago, they moved it around. I went, Annika and I are friends, and she called me and said, I don't know, she didn't know geography in the United States, but she said, I'll be in San Antonio. Is that by Oklahoma? And I said, yes, it's actually pretty close. And she said, well, would you come down? We could hang out. If you come down, I'm playing at PASIC. So I got to go down there and hang out with her, and we had drinks afterwards and all that fun stuff. So, but now they just have kind of stayed in one place, and now it's always in Indianapolis. And again, I will be going to that if they have it this year, because that is like a candy store too. You just go in with sticks and you can play everything and meet everybody, and it's really, really a lot of fun.
I didn't know you brought your own sticks. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, well, and you can always buy. Some of them will sell sticks to you there, but I always have them in my backpack or my pocket, just so I can pull them out and try any of the new products that are out.
But then they have those police that just go crazy. You go to a drum convention, but you can't play drums. It's so crazy.
It is crazy, but I was thinking about the logistics of it. It makes sense, you know, because
it was really bad. They shut DRUMEO down last year, which is
down. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's rough. I wish they had the percussion area by itself, or where people would enter knowing that it's going to be loud. You know, it's not going to be like you're next to the flutes or something. But you
So
know,
they
I
shut
get
it down for noise? I'm sorry.
and actually a company could be shut down for the rest of the day, or they could be fined. It can be really costly to their business because it is not cheap to set up there. If you have a 6-foot table, it can run into some thousands of dollars to be there. And if you're shut down, that's some money in the trash. So they have to be really careful about noise pollution while you're there. But I think the PASIC show that I went to last, it was not like that. I mean, there was marching bands walking through, and there was lots of noise. You just put your headphones in and play and have fun. It wasn't nearly as policed like the NAMM show is.
I think it has to do with the size, because the NAMM show is so much bigger that.
Well,
if
it
you
is, yeah.
imagine all those booths making noise, it's crazy. I mean,
It
it's
is.
actually harmful for your ears because
Right.
it's complicated. I was thinking about it because I've been shut down a couple times down there. We had a booth when I used to be with Rimshawlocks, but you know, how do you manage that? It's like pretty complicated, you know,
It
unless
truly
everybody was
is.
electric, then like if everybody played electric drums, which everybody doesn't want to, maybe they could manage it and everybody has a certain decibel they could come up to, but it's kind of complicated, I think.
It is. There's not an easy solution for sure. And I understand both sides of it. I just hate that like DRUMEO, they have this huge booth and they show off drummers, especially the younger drummers that want to come and play, and they'll film them and they'll do live streaming. And you can't play. I mean, you have to play if you're going to play. You know, they're playing to music and there's a big audience around them. But I get it, because maybe just a little section over, there could be a musical artist doing an impromptu concert. You know, you can walk through and like, I was walking through one time and there was Herbie Hancock in a room playing, and right down from that, Lisa and the Cult Jam was doing a little thing. I mean, just like everywhere you look, there is some famous artist, and they're either signing autographs or they're picking up a guitar and playing and singing just like right there. So they have to have the volume down enough so that all of those things can happen. I get it, but it just doesn't, it takes some of the fun away from it too, you know.
And I think some of it is because of OSHA requirements, if I remember, because we were all wondering
maybe
what happened because of the health effects on people's ears. Just the government.
Yeah, and I tell everybody, just please bring in some really good in-ears to protect yourself from all of that. And lots of water and the most comfortable shoes you can possibly wear, because your feet will hurt. Because honestly, at the NAMM show, there's no place to sit. There's almost no place to sit, even if you're eating. So you're going to be on your feet a lot. And they used to have one section that was just beanbag chairs everywhere, and you could crash and on that for a bit. But they took that out. So really, you're just going to be walking for days. And not much place to sit. So come
You
with
can go out
good
front,
shoes.
sit on the concrete.
Yeah, and we all do.
You can sit and play drums.
Exactly.
You'll get to go. And I went for my first time last year, and it was amazing. So you'll get to go.
Yeah, Pasty will give you a badge if you ask.
Yeah.
Or Pasty, sorry.
Pasty.
We do have a couple of people on here, Terry and Linda McDonald. They're also going to be guests here pretty soon. I'm excited. We just booked up with you guys. They're also going to be sitting in as a special guest here pretty soon. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that they're going to be with us as well. Dorothea, before we leave, is there anything else that you would like to share with the group that you would like them to know about you or your career?
I have a question for her. Can I just ask her one question real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Nobody covered, did you study with anybody or take lessons with anybody at all?
You are the first one in all of the interviews I've done, all of the Zooms, all of the podcasts.
Wow. That's interesting.
I've never had a drum lesson in my life.
Wow, that's also interesting.
And when I say about the drum corps now, we didn't have a drum instructor. This was a small drum corps. And so the man who started it up, he was he had been in the army or whatever. And so he was an old fashioned snare drummer, you know, with the snare leaning over there on the side. And he started the corps. And so it was always the oldest snare drummer that had been in there that started, you know, us newbies. And we wrote our own music. We made up our own music. We didn't even write it because nobody knew how to write it. We couldn't read music. None of us in the drum line that I was in there for 6 years, none of us could read drum music. We just did it all by ear.
Wow.
So you weren't like in
then-
a high school band, like a high school marching bands or anything?
No, I never did that high school. No. So the drum corps chops that I have now, I've just always kept up just by watching others, YouTube. And, you know, there's always been somebody. When I was at the music store, there was a young guy that was a lifeguard for the summer in Myrtle Beach, and he had marched, and he showed me the cheeses, you know, cheese fives and cheese inverts and stuff. So I've done everything on my own.
Oh,
Good job.
Well done.
Thank you.
Just a quick one. If
That's
I
so
could,
good. Yeah.
Dorothea. Oh, awesome. I'm just wondering, do you use a metronome very much to kind of keep you? I'm a pianist by training, but I found the metronome's been super helpful.
Yeah.
You know, just to kind of for time and just to kind of train your ear a little bit. So do you still use it?
Well, I don't use it as much, but I do use it every day with the virtual students to show them, you know, I'll put it on my setting, and because of the delay, you know, in virtual, then I make them set their metronomes for the same setting. So I'll play an example, and then I'll listen to them to make sure. And then they realize how difficult. They think that they'd be playing a pattern on stick control, and they think that they have it. But then when they turn that metronome on, when they finish, you know, the 16ths and come back into the eighths, they're not back on that click. And it really surprises them. And so I have to stress how important it is with the metronome.
Yeah.
And so I don't use it as much as I used to, but I do use it every day with the students. So
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Dorothea. If there was a musical artist out there that you could play with, like one person that you would just love to play with, who would it be?
Aerosmith.
Wow. That is a good answer. I love that.
Yeah, I would love to be just behind the drums and just, you know, be at a concert and just go up and play one song with them and just play
which
one of,
song?
you know.
Which song would that be?
Shoot, my favorite song too. I can't think of the name of it.
Just sing it. Sing it out loud.
No,
We'll probably know it if you sing it.
Oh yeah. Well, name me some famous.
Emotion.
What is
Same
it?
Old Song and Dance is one of my favorite ones because I
No,
flipped my.
Not that one.
Walk
Not
this
that
way.
one.
Walk
No?
this way. Walk this way.
With Run
That's my
DMC?
favorite. Yeah,
Yeah, Walk This Way is fun.
yeah. I just think it would be fun to be up there with Steven Tyler, or just that would be
That
like
would be fun.
He would
Hey,
probably come up. He would probably come up like he does to Joey and correct him. That would
Dorothea,
irritate you.
I need to get you in touch with a girl that is actually going to be on next month, Sarah Tomek. She just went on tour with Steven Tyler last year. She was touring with
did?
him. So they
Oh.
are good friends, and she's going to be one of our guests next month.
Oh man.
You guys need to talk so that she can hook you up with coming up on stage sometime with when they're in your town or close
Oh,
to you.
man.
Because I bet
So
we
cool.
can make that happen for you.
That
Neat.
would be like
One more thing.
my last rites.
We're gonna have to make that happen. You guys can hold me to it. We're gonna have to make this happen for you. Okay. Last question. I wanted to have you tell them about you being on the Drew Barrymore show last week, was it?
Oh yeah, that was last week. Yep, I had gotten a call from a lady or a text and then a call back in September. And it was about being on the Drew Barrymore show, one of her segments about, you know, my Instagram following and everything. Well, I don't know what happened to it. I kept waiting and hadn't heard anything. And then she is one of the segment producers. And then they said that they wanted to do something with Craig Ferguson, and they were going to have like a "What's My Line" kind of game thing where they'd have 3 different people and then you'd have to guess who did what. And she remembered me, and so she put my name in the pot. And so then I got a call from the producer over her, and he said, "Would you like to do it?" And I said, "Sure." So I knew that it wasn't going to be anything really big, you know, but I didn't know that we were all going to play our instruments at the same time at the end of the segment, because they had me do a sound check. So I thought I was going to do like a 3 or 4 second thing, and then the other people were, but we all ended up playing at the same time, which was kind of weird, but you know, I still was on the Drew Barrymore show, so that was still fun.
Hey, Tammy,
Very cool too. I watched it.
Did you?
It was fun. It looked like it. Right. Go ahead. Go right
I
ahead.
saw it. I thought for sure they were going to peg you as the bagpipe player.
I thought they would too.
It was tuba at first, right?
Yeah. Tuba and bagpipes and then drums.
Yeah. That's funny.
I have one quick question. I see Steve Gadd on your music stand back there. Could you tell us a few of your favorite drummers?
Oh, I have so many. Like, yeah, Steve Gadd, Steve Smith, Benny Greb. I love Benny Greb. He's just so different. And Annika Niles and oh my gosh, Keith Carlock. I love him too, if you know his style. It's a little bit different. So Dave Weckl, he came and did a clinic in our store. He was amazing. There's so many that I really, really love. So I like the Steve Gadd, you know, rudimental things. You could tell that he's a rudimental drummer just by his little grooves.
Are there any last questions before we go? This is your chance, face to face with Dorothea.
Just keep up the great work, Dorothea. You're such an inspiration. It's so awesome. Your energy is just so great, and just rock. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm in North Florida, when this COVID's over, I love getting up to South Carolina. So I hope you do play again and I get to come up and see you.
Okay. Yep. I mean, you never know. Once the COVID thing breaks, you know, I could get a call from so and so. Now that they see me, that I have made it. Maybe they'll let me in their band.
That's funny.
I'm kind of over, you know, the carrying of the heavy equipment in and out. I'm kind of over that. So yeah. I kind of like being here in my studio and teaching, and
yeah, it's nice.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think keep on playing. Honestly, I discovered you before I discovered the Drummer Girls group.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes. Like, oh, then look at Dorothea, and then like, oh, like there are like 100 more of her. But I mean, I learned the drums like at 40, and I learned because my son started when he was like way younger, and he also wanted to play the bass, so I played the piano too, and so I just needed another percussionist in the house so that we can all jam. My husband and daughter play guitar. So I felt really awkward learning, something so late, and then suddenly in a band as well. But
oh, it's fun. Oh, I do have to admit, I said I've never had a drum lesson, but I did take piano lessons for 6 years. So I did have, experience. I never had any drums lessons, but reading piano music and drum music, you would think that they would be closer, but they're really not. You know, it's totally different.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. But
We did.
thanks for spending time with us. Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
It's
My,
always
yeah,
a
my
pleasure.
son, did you not see my son get shocked? Okay, so he's 16. He knows who you are.